What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games. Today's video, we're reviewing Astrobot on the PS5. Now, Astrobot is the brand new 3D platformer that celebrates 30 years of PlayStation history, from its first party to its third party characters. Now, at the end of this game, Astrobot really does become one of the most important characters in PlayStation's history and can really sit on that mantle of the crown jewel IP for this platform. Now, Astrobot is honestly the perfect encapsulation of why I personally love video games, why I wake up and play video games every day, and the fun per second on this game is pretty much near infinite, and it really does live at the top of one of the greatest 3D platformers ever created with the all-time best Super Mario Galaxy. Now, the plot of this game is rather simple. You start the game in your PS5 ship, and then a UFO attacks your ship, destroys the PS5, and you have to find the 5 different parts of your ship in 5 different galaxies to complete your ship and then defeat the evil alien. Now, your ship is going to be trapped on this desert planet, which is going to be your hub world of the game, and all of the Astrobot characters that you rescue, whether they're just nameless ones or first party, third party characters, they're going to be hanging out in this area, and you can actually interact with them and get really cool, heartwarming interactions that make you realize why you love video games so much. There's also other customization options that will unlock based on how many puzzle pieces that you find in each one of the 80 levels in Astrobot's game. The gameplay in Astrobot is very similar to its predecessor's Astro Playroom, but they expanded on nearly every function. Astro has his standard jump, his laser extended jump, his punching, his spin attacks, but he also has the additional mechanics like frog punch gloves, where you can attack enemies from a distance, control each individual fist with your triggers, and you can also swing across gaps and much more. There's the dog jetpack that lets you barrel through enemies and walls and also allow yourself to complete levels at a much faster pace. And there's the VR slowdown, where you can stop time and jump on really fast objects that you normally wouldn't be able to, but also defeat certain enemies that you normally wouldn't be able to interact with without the slowdown, and much more. And each one of these levels are uniquely crafted around these different mechanics, but each level also has its own vibe, its own feeling, and its own sort of mini story to it as well. There's a level out there where you have to rescue this iron giant from his shackles, and you got to free it from his shackles, and then from there he'll take you up on this Shadow of the Colossus S-type level. There's also a level where you do a Honey to Shrunk the Kids, where you shrink down to the size of a tiny little mouse, and the level goes from something that seems completely normal and pedantic to just this incredibly involved and dense level when you can switch freely from being regular size to mini. And there's just so many different examples of that throughout this game. Now, the levels are broken down into main levels and these challenge levels. The main levels are right here. Huge levels. They'll have like 6, 7, or even 8 bots that you can rescue. They'll have 3 jigsaw puzzles for you to find, and sometimes they even have a secret exit. These secret exits allow you to find a brand new secret level that is in the secret galaxy, and that has its own set of characters that you can find, which is also great. You want to definitely find those, because some of the best characters you can find in the game are definitely going to be in those locations. Now, these levels are all very vibrant in colors. Their use of different materials that you can see, from metallic surfaces to glass-like surfaces and just flowing metals. There's just a big diversity going on with there, and there's also just a lot of attention to detail. You know, you can like check out like a sea turtle, jump in its back, and it'll do a little flip for you. You know, you can like punch a cow and the cow will react and like maybe get angry at you, or maybe it'll try to like take a nap with you. There's just a bunch of little things throughout the level that just makes this game feel like it has a lot of love and care in it in general. And I think that's one of the best parts of it, that you can tell that the dev team had a lot of fun making each one of these levels. And of course, there's a lot of different character models in the game, not just the Astrobots, but also all the different animals. And there's just so many animals. There's even a safari zone that you can unlock later in the game to take photos of every single one of the animals and their different biomes in the game too, which is really sick. And speaking of character designs, there's a ton of different enemies that you fight in the game with different ways for you to attack them and beat them. Like you can just punch them, or some of them require you to do your laser jump over them to beat them down. Some of them require you just to like drop a hole underneath them so they fall through the platform, and some of them require you like to use certain mechanics like the jetpack dog to like run right through them, the frog punch gloves to beat them from a distance or hit their projectiles back at them. And also includes the boss fights. The boss fights are all quite surprising. They're unique. They're very spectacle-like. Sometimes require these new mechanical items to use to actually beat them in combat. And you know, you get a 3-life system with these boss fights too. So if you get hit 3 times, you will lose the fight. But there's really no minus to actually losing. The game doesn't ever punish you for dying. There's a great and robust checkpoint system in this game, which I do think is great, especially for an all ages environment in general. Now, there is a big quality of life feature that I really do like in this game. There is a bird that you can pay 200 coins to in the game, and you find coins throughout levels. This is the same currency that you use to unlock different outfits for Astrobot, different cameo like appearances from certain characters and what they do with them in the hub world, and also different PlayStation controller decals. If you get 200 coins to these birds, then this bird will find all the secrets for you. So if you just go back in the level and start over again, you don't have to like ever look up a YouTube guide to find the secrets you're missing. And I really think that is such a cool feature of a video game to have. Now, another thing I really love is when you do beat the final boss of each zone, there is a special final zone of that galaxy, and it features a PlayStation character where you become that PlayStation character and you get to use the gameplay mechanics from their game. Now, the one I'll talk about is the God of War one because they showed it off in trailers, and playing as Kratos and using his axe is so sick. You get to use the same mechanic. You get to throw his axe, you freeze the enemy, and you get to recall it back in your hand, and it just completely changes how you play Astrobot for that level. And of course, you get to look like Kratos too, and it's just really sick, the different themes they do around that with, yes, they have the God of War music, all the God of War characters, and they even have a God of War centric boss fight at the end of it, which is just really sick. Now, another great feature about this game is this use of the DualSense controller. This is the best game that has ever used the DualSense controller to its max. It uses gyro controls for the flying. It also can use gyro controls for sometimes climbing with the monkey on your back. You can blow into the mic to use air blowing, to like blow bubbles, so you can use some certain platforming aspects. The different vibrations on the DualSense controller will let you know where secrets are, but also when you're walking on different platforms, you can actually tell what the difference between like a metallic platform versus a sandy platform. And it's just really cool how this all interacts with the actual gameplay, but just the vibe of this world and just how cool the PS5 controller really is. And I just wish more games use this because it's honestly super sick. Now, this game also runs at a perfect 60 FPS. I had no drops, no visual glitches or any issues like that. And I gotta say, this game is actually very impressive on the technical aspects because of the physics engine. There are parts of the level where you can like punch a tree and like hundreds of apples will drop out, and there's just no lag, no frame drops whatsoever, and like you can just go through a pile of leaves and like hundreds of leaves will just scatter throughout. And it's just very impressive with how much happens with each object in the levels and just the attention to detail. The particle effects are also phenomenal too. And just overall, Astrobot is just an incredible package, and I would say this is a must-have game for the PS5. If you own a PS5, you need to buy this game. If you have kids, you need to buy this game. If you're an adult like me, you should also buy this game. And if you don't have a PS5, this is going to be your #1 reason to get a PS5. And I really got to say, at the end of the day, Astrobot does sit on the crown of greatness for the PlayStation platform. Might be the best PlayStation game, and it definitely is, at the very least, one of the greatest 3D platformers up there at the highest highs of like Mario Galaxy, Mario Odyssey, and Mario 64. So definitely check it out. And I would give this a 10 out of 10 on the PanFro game scale. And of course, guys, if you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to leave a like on this, subscribe if you're new, and consider supporting the channel by joining the Pan Fam by hitting that join channel member button below. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out and have a good one.